Good afternoon. I'm still your girl, Itope, your girl and your friend. So last week was it late last week or earlier this week? There was a news about a 54-year-old woman that was called to bar. She was being beaten to death by her husband, a 54-year-old woman. So now, my own take is for a man to still beat a 54-year-old woman, that woman would have gone through so many horror stories, like so many horror past. Now may her soul rest in peace. Now let's talk about domestic violence. About domestic violence has no gender. Is The victim can be a male, the victim can be a female. And so many times you see people advising the victim to leave the marriage, to leave the relationship. Even I personally will advise the victim to leave. But one thing is, it is not easy, because I have like two or three people very close to me. I always advise people to leave anyway, but at a point I have like two or three people close to me going through is I can't even advise them. I can't advise them to leave. It was very very difficult. Like, I was feeling their pains, that when they leave, what next will happen. So I know it is not easy, but at some point we just have to think about it. If you are a victim of domestic violence, maybe your wife is beating you, your husband is beating you, even at the end, if you being the victim, for example, maybe when the man was beating you, you were trying to escape, and the man fell down and gave up the ghost. Even from there, you've become a murderer before you will have evidence that, okay, it was not the one, you were not the one beating him, he is the one beating you. You were just trying to protect your life, you were trying to escape. That was when he fell and gave up the ghost. Before you bring out that evidence, people would have announced it to the world that you murdered your husband. Then along the line, I met like two, or was it three, that were victim of domestic violence anyway, but they are still with their spouse. So two of them told me on different occasions that they have to fight for their own life, like fighting. Like, one of them was telling me that she has to threaten her husband, like, if you dare touch me this afternoon, like, I will beat you with this stick, this this turning stick, turning stick that all these caterers do use. Then I remember one told me that she has to go to the nearest junction and pay some touts to beat her husband. So that was the last time the man raised his hands to beat her. So I don't know. Well, that one too is good anyway. I personally, I can even do it on behalf of someone. But the fact is, okay, when you pay for tout to beat him up, and at the end of the day, maybe they beat him to coma, then you've given yourself another name. So I don't know what we can do to stop this domestic violence in our community. um so is it the living that is the best thing? Like, the victim should leave the relationship or the marriage, or paying for talks to beat the person up? Because I don't think endurance is the best thing. Like, you might you might you might lose your life if you are enduring it. Like, do you the solution? What is the way forward? And like, some people will tell us that the signs were there during courting, and some will even tell you that he or she was not showing that sign during courting. So I don't even know what to say now. I don't know the way forward. What is the way forward? What can we do to reduce this domestic violence? Imagine a man beating a 52 or 54-year-old woman. um there was a time I have a woman. There was a time I have a woman. She was a victim then. um and she complained to me. Even at that time, she just delivered a baby, and maybe a week, that was 2 days, 2 days, 2 days to the naming ceremony. Was it 2 days to the naming ceremony or 2 days after the naming ceremony? The man beats her up. And well, uh I remembered I followed her there. Then we went to pack our loads, like we look for all these big lorries to pack her things, and she left the man. But unfortunately for me, oh, so they were together again, like maybe 2 or 3 months after. So they were together again, and she told the man that I was even the one that volunteered to pack her things from the man's house. So this is why I'm asking. I personally, I know it's not easy. Yes, you can advise people to leave, but when you have someone close to you going through it, then you will not think about, is leaving the easiest thing to do? What else can you do? So I'm still your friend, your sister, and your girl, Itope. Have a nice time.